to Local Live here at Macon Music. It is a gorgeous afternoon here Tuesday, and I'm delighted because my guests today are the gentlemen of the band Rayne, and they're here right now. But first, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to someone who you don't see. Well, you never see him because he's always behind the scenes. But Wally, we miss you. He's at the hospital right now, hopefully welcoming his new baby any minute now. So Wally, we're all thinking about you here and missing you, but we know that you're where you need to be. So congratulations, and let's get rolling with the show. I'm going to go ahead and share the link. And thank you all for joining us. And we're sharing links. Introduce yourselves while I take care of this. Over here, Chris, tell us a little about yourself.
My name's Chris Murray. I'm the drummer in Rayne, and live in Frederick. Been here past 14 years. Before that, Montgomery County. So I'm a Maryland boy through and through.
All right.
I'm Sketchy and Forte, singer for Rayne. It was in Frederick until about, 5 years ago. Now living in Virginia. But Frederick is where my roots are, pretty much.
Yeah, and if I may be so bold, I want to say, for those of you who are watching, thanks everybody for tuning in. I see Michael's on right now. Hey, Michael, he's going to be my guest pretty soon here. Look, very popular local. I mean, I knew of you both before I actually even met you, just by name and reputation. So tell us a little about your first project in Frederick, how you got started with your fabulous reputations. Chris, you take it away first.
Years ago, I was in a band called the Brutalistic All-Stars, which was based out of Gaithersburg, but we were a staple at like Bushwallers and all that, back with the whole Rob Casey era of booking down on Market Street and stuff. And that was cool because we were 18, 19 years old, playing all this like old school 70s funk and R&B, and people that wasn't the norm. So
yeah.
That was kind of what was my first foray into stepping on the scene as a musician and really kind of getting out there and doing it. Over the years, I've done a lot of mercenary work or sideman work and played with boatloads of people. I mean, some you've heard of, some you haven't, and everything in between. And then I had a band with Sean Johnson called Girls Night Out that was a duo that evolved into a band with Randy Mazzy from 3AM and Chris Ball.
Yeah, Randy.
That band was a lot of fun. and that was just, we did mostly like girl songs, party pop music. It was great, like 4 guys up there doing Britney Spears and
So
Daisy
cool.
Chicks,
Yeah.
Lady Gaga and stuff. So it was fun. And then obviously just staying in the craft, and working in the music business, trying to stay relevant and active. So that's kind of how I've been staying afloat.
Yeah, from open mics to shows.
Yeah,
Right.
everything. And Scott, what about you?
Basically the same thing, just various cover bands. It was, Drunk Naked Pirates was the last one. They're called Everrise now, but before that it was Major Danger with Jimmy Rickard and Jack Perry and those guys. And then before that, 20 years back when we first got into this area, we were in a band called Sirens Island, which was like...
That's a great band name.
Oh, it was cool at the
Sirens
time, too.
Island?
That was like an 80s rock.
I like that, yeah.
That was when Saigon Kick would come into town and we'd get to open for them and that
Sounds
kind of thing.
cool.
Bellis's,
Yeah. Oh, Bellis's.
Yeah, but so just the Rabbit's Foot in those days when Frederick was kind of the, just getting the rock scene going.
Yeah.
We have little pieces of that, and just, again, staying relevant as best we can.
I just remember like back in the day when you could see like on Fridays and Saturdays you'd drive past Champions and see actual tour buses out there.
Oh, yeah,
That was
yeah.
great. A great train robbery was there.
Yes.
It seemed like every 2 months.
Yeah, I opened for Ronnie James Dio there.
Dio! Like a rainbow in the dark! Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Dio!
Who else? Paul Rogers, we had a show with him one time from Bad Company.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
Exhale had tons of bands for a while. It was really cool.
So, I wasn't on the Frederick music scene then, unfortunately. I think that's when I was doing my Patsy Cline thing, which we talked about earlier, more in the West Virginia area or Carroll County. So talk a little about that. That's very interesting, like the Frederick music scene, since you guys have been playing through those different eras. That's where we originally saw it. Where do you see it right now, and where do you see it going?
You answer.
Like, what's your vibe now when you go out to see live music, if you have time, because you're gigging?
I do, I'm gigging, but then I also run my own booking agency, and so I kind of see both sides of the game, which is pretty interesting because I get to see the business from both ends. As far as what's working right now, there's 2 trains of thought. There's what I call the millennial crowd. There's certain bars that do well getting that 25 to 33-year-old power drinker crowd in there. They want to hear everything they recognize and basically what's on the most popular 3
So
radio
like top
stations.
40.
Top 40, yeah, all of that stuff, and that works well, and it's great, and that's an ever-evolving environment because basically every 3 to 4 years that's all that new material is going to come up.
For sure.
And then there's the other demographic, which are folks that are probably in their late 30s, early 40s to maybe their late 40s, early 50s that still want to go out, party, have a good time, and still also listen to stuff that they recognize.
Yeah, hit that nostalgia chord.
Right,
Yeah.
and so there's been a resurgence of some 80s rock and then early 90s alternative. People, but see, now they're considering that an old school night.
And that's funny
crazy.
to me.
Even right.
Right. Well, tying it into your sound, so you are all originals in this project, Rayne.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned it's a little bit more of an organic rock sound. Like, it's interesting for me when these new artists are coming out and people are like, "What a new original sound!" And I'm like, "That sounds '90s to me."
Right.
But they're getting like the recognition of it, But it's just really a throwback of what was before. So tell me a little about how Rayne got started.
It's 25 years of original music that I've been sitting on over the years, and after doing cover band, and as much as I love playing in cover bands and music, at a certain point, through a couple people influenced me to maybe try singing and doing my stuff,
Yeah.
and so I reached out to Chris and Bobby and Pete, the three in Rayne besides myself.
So who are the missing links here today? Let's give them a shout out.
Pete Goodwin's our guitar player. He's also in 3 AM, extraordinary player. And the Bobby Dotson, who years ago, if you guys remember Brian Jack and Child's Play and all that, he's from kind of that genre and those groups. But both of those guys couldn't be here today for various reasons.
Sure.
But Chris
Well, we're
and I
happy
are
to
here,
have
so
you two.
You got the best part of the band.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but you
said
said
it.
it.
But just kidding, guys, if you ever watch this. So
Let's see if they're watching right now.
I approached
I think Bobby
I
is.
approached the three of them just because these were the best musicians that I knew that maybe I could con into playing my stuff.
Yeah.
And, I also wanted the music. Some of the stuff had been lying around for a while, and some of it was new, and there was just all these variations of different songs. So I wanted to find guys who could mature and decorate what I had to make it fit into something new. So I was looking for a way to take what I loved and have it made even better, and that's what they do. So.
Well, obviously you're doing really well. You have a gig coming up with Jimmy's Chicken Shack, right?
Yeah.
We're part of Vet Fest 4.
Is that August? What's the date on that?
I think it's the 9th.
I think so. I don't have the date.
No. I don't remember.
It's this summer though.
Okay, so this
Fest in
summer in
August.
August, check out, and that's a big bill. There's a lot of
Yeah,
acts on
Jimmy's
that.
Chicken Shack, Veer, Reggie Wayne Morris,
Silver Tongue.
Silver Tongue,
Nice.
us, the Frederick Rock School. What's up, Scott?
Oh, Scott, we'll talk about someone awesome on the scene, making
Right.
things happen.
Yeah,
We're
it's
talking.
awesome. And then 2 or 3 others, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's a really solid bill, and it's a charity event. Which
And
is
where's
always
that
cool.
being held?
That's being held at the Frederick County Fairgrounds.
Oh, perfect, at the fairgrounds. Okay, so everybody check that out. That'll be a great time to
And
hear
Vet
some
Fest
of
4, if you look it
originals.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're with Lynch Mob on the 20th of April.
On the
So
20th of
just
April.
a few days from now. Yeah.
Where's that?
Fishhead Cantina in Baltimore.
Oh,
We're
okay,
just
that's
out.
perfect. That's a good local show coming up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be fun.
So you write the songs, and
For the most part, I mean, there's a lot of changes and a lot of things that happen. But yeah, maybe 70 to 80% of what happens initially, but a lot changes.
so but you bring it to the guys. Tell me a little about the process when you have a song that whether it be older or new, that you're bringing to them. Who do you talk to first?
I'd probably talk to Chris first.
Okay.
There's a strategy on how to introduce.
Tell us about the strategy.
Oh man, I don't want to get into it. No way.
Basically, and I can give you the process as being on the other side of it. Scott has decades of material that he's stored here and here, and a lot of these songs have been polished and written out and at least thought out for a long time.
Yeah.
And so he has an idea, and he comes to the band room and says, I have this song. And he'll play through it, and we all listen to it and kind of start to develop, just like any songwriting session would go. You start to develop your own ideas, your own theories, and say, this is what I hear. And then we'll probably spend a little bit of time toying with different feels, different tempos, just getting all of sort of the core pieces in place. And then once we have a foundation, we start to build on it and see if that's going to work. And then obviously with 3 or 4 personalities in any room, you have to start to navigate the politics of that.
Yeah.
And so that's where you start to say, all right, well, I hear it this way, and someone says, well, I hear it that way. And that becomes the fun part of being in a band, as you well know. It's the greatest part of the world is when everybody just calmly and politely shares their opinions.
Yeah, it's always like
It's great. It's perfect. I mean,
I
it's
love it.
It's
It is
kumbaya.
very, very chill being
But
a
yeah,
musician.
and so then we end up taking the songs and we'll chew them up and put them in our hair for like a month, and then usually by that time, we've got a solid 4-minute song, and then we just rehearse it into the ground, rehearse it into the ground, rehearse it into the ground. So, but because Scott's got so much material, it's really, he's being generous.
That is a good problem, by the way,
Yeah.
to have.
He's
We're talking to some
generous
original
saying-
acts that are like, we have 3 songs, and you guys are like, oh, we have
Too
10.
many, man.
Yeah, so I mean, realistically, the ratio is, I'd say, about 95 and 5 right now, because Scott's got so much material. Everyone else does too, but we've just been so focused on what's already in and finished.
Sure, why not?
So, but we've got nothing but time. So,
Yeah.
that sounds
nothing
like
but time.
that sounds like a song title.
it does. We've got
Nothing but
time.
time. That's kind of a, okay. Don't start writing now. We're live, but I want to get on here. We've got some folks tuning in. Jason was our interview last week, so hey, Jason, shout
What's
out
up,
to you.
Jason?
So, Mr. Sear,
And
see you later on this evening.
he says hey to both you guys. He also said, "Where's Bobby?" We already said couldn't be here, unfortunately. As you can see, it's crowded. Only room for the 3 of us, especially with my ego here.
I was just about to say the same thing. My ego.
Hey, we're balancing it out. We've got humble Scott in the beginning, like
So
The room's really heavy on the sides.
Scott's like, I just want to play my songs. Yeah, we're holding you down. Drummer and singer, he goes, what are you gonna do? We have Luke is watching from England. Hi, Luke. That's a friend of mine. Jason Hannon. Oh, I love them.
One Blue Night.
Watching, so good. Michael Choice, Chris Christopherson Norris, Kevin Wilson.
Oh, Chris, what's up?
Hey, Doug. How's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. I want to talk about someone big on the music scene. I have VJ Kumar Solanki says, can I make a request? Can I hear some T-Pow?
I
Yeah,
love
feels
that
like a
song.
hit. Inside joke,
We're
okay?
gonna do that in like 35 minutes.
Okay, 35 minutes when the show's over.
Oh,
But for
Give a little bit of
now.
heart and soul. Give a little bit of love to grow. Yeah, there you go. I love that song.
I love how Scott's like, so I was tired of playing covers.
And then immediately,
and then here we go. It's okay. And you said you do mix a few in.
Yeah,
too,
we'll
so,
throw a couple in.
You know, just to please everybody. Well, while we've got you, can we hear a song?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'm waiting for someone to tell me no, but you know, I think it's in the contract. You have to do it. All right, so tell us a little bit about this one, and then take it.
This song's called No Hope. It's actually, we start a lot of the shows with this song. It's one of my favorites, but it's basically about the cages we put ourselves in. And you know, the bottom line is it's us who put us there. And we should try to
Ooh.
figure out a way out on our own. You know, I don't something like that. But it's you know about having hope. It's called No Hope.
I love it. Ironic. Take it away, guys. Here's Rayne.
Ready?
Hurts me to see you when you cry. There must be something I can do or say to make everything alright. Wipe those tears away from your eyes, 'cause I know what it's like.
acoustic like this, or is it always,
No.
it's always full band?
It's always full band, except Scott always plays the acoustic in the full band format.
Got it, perfect, yeah. That's cool. Well, I guess it's neat for folks that have already seen you play then to just see it kind of like
Yeah,
unplugged
it's
like
stripped
this
down,
a little
yeah.
bit. Yeah, a little moment. Cool. So, we talked already about how you got started in the Frederick scene. How did you each get started individually actually playing, like at the youngest of ages?
I've been playing music since I can remember. I don't know, I was probably Kiss, Ace Frehley, you know what I mean? Like the poster of him leaning back with his guitar, smoking, and the makeup, and the, you know, just all of that, man. I mean, I was probably 7 or 8 and just had to be.
7 or 8?
Yeah, I had to play guitar, and so my
Did you
first.
take lessons?
Yeah, from everybody. My initial first guitar was, back in the day, you could you'd sell cards door to door, and you know, like greeting cards, you know, for special occasions or whatever.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, so I had to sell 169 boxes of cards in order to win an acoustic guitar, and so literally, I think my mom bought like 70 boxes. You know what I mean? But you know, so that's how I got my first guitar, and I was hooked ever since, man. Then I found out, like as a teenager, that girls like guitar players. That was it.
See, you know, most people I interview, it's the story goes the other way around. You know, they find out that information ahead of time.
No, I was good, man. That was just a bonus.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, I just love playing music. So.
Do you remember one of the first songs you learned?
You know, Smoke on the Water, Stairway to Heaven.
Right.
I mean, the first guitar solo was Running with the Devil by Van Halen.
Really?
Yeah, I remember, because it was easy. To all the stuff he's written, that was like the easy solo.
And that was on acoustic?
No.
Electric, okay, yeah. What brings you to acoustic in this band?
It's just the singing part of it, you know.
Okay.
I trying to focus on both.
Yeah.
I just find it easier to, you know, let Pete do all the candy coding
Right.
and all the decorating.
The Tweedledees.
Yeah.
The Tweedledee-Dees,
Yeah.
he calls it. Speaking of Tweedledee-Dees, Mr. Accents over there. So you don't play cajon in the band, obviously.
No,
This is just for today.
This is my 34th year playing drums. I started playing when I was 8.
When you were 8 as well. Wow, that's
And
interesting.
4th grade, I was playing the trumpet and realized I just absolutely wanted to play something different, and the drums spoke to me. I can't explain it any other way than that. And so, of course, in 4th grade, I went to my teacher and said, I'd like to play drums. And she said, I don't need any drummers. Play the trumpet this year. So I went home and I was cleaning my trumpet, and I took the valves out and took the casings out, put them back in upside down, and put the trumpet back together, went in and said, my trumpet doesn't work.
Oh, you little
Can I please
smart.
play the drums? And she was like, no. I got you. And so I went home and bought a snare drum and a stick at a yard sale for $1, and I spent all of my 4th grade year just doing that. And then in 5th grade, I started playing concert band. And then in 7th grade, I walked in, and there was a drum set at Gaithersburg Junior High. And first day of school, I walked in, I sat down, and just, I was comfortable. It was the easiest way as I could
To
explain it.
claim your territory.
I felt more at ease sitting there than I ever had, and I picked up the sticks and immediately just started playing Beat It by Michael Jackson. Just, and it fit. So
Didn't Van Halen play on that?
Yeah.
So there you go. Look at your connections.
Right.
And both at age 8, you guys
Right.
were jamming in other areas. Soulmate
Yeah.
connection.
And then I think I ended up sitting in with my first band publicly at 12. I was somewhere with my dad, and then by the time I was 16, I was lying about my age and playing in bars. Back when you could lie about your age and play in bars.
I know it
Oh, I
now.
think I did when I was 17. Man.
Right, and then from there it was off to the races.
I had to get a permit. I was the same. I was underage. We had to go, but we went until we got caught with my parents,
Oh,
and then
right.
I had to go to before the Baltimore Liquor Board and get a little permit to be in the bars at like age 14 or whatever.
Yeah. The bar I had my 21st birthday in was really, really upset.
Yeah.
That you were.
You've been in here for 5 years.
This is 4 years. 4 years I've been going there. They were.
We thought you were 30, man. What's happening here?
Well, I mean, it's not like I look old for my age.
Picked
or
a
anything.
No, you
Bar
guys
for the
both
party.
very young. Music keeps you young. I feel like a lot of the
Keeps you
local
electrified.
musicians.
I'm
live
like,
longer.
really? You didn't know? All right, sorry, but I mean, I'm legal now.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
man.
and then it's
Seniors
been, from there, it was every gig that I could take, I took. Big band and swing, reggae, jazz, funk, fusion, R&B, metal, rock, party pop covers.
Well, there was one point like a year ago where you were in like 8 bands.
I was.
Yeah, so I
It's
mean,
like
that's what
every-
I'm saying.
every
Like we
weekend
have a lot of
Chris is
folks
playing something.
watching, and I find that's probably because a lot of people know you, both of you, from being. But you are definitely Mr. Like I'm like, who's the drummer in this? Oh, I'm
Yeah, it's Chris. Well, didn't he play in the band right before this? Yeah. Yeah, he
Which
plays
I
all
had that
4.
Yeah, we're in
Amazing.
Baker Park. He's literally playing every set with a different band.
Well, and it's
Yep.
it's funny too because it's worked out that way where I've booked the band to play the show, and then something happens down the line, and then they go, "Hey, can you fill in on drums for that
Yeah.
gig?" And then I get to the venue, and they're like, "Dude, come on!" I'm like, "I didn't do it on purpose. I swear, I didn't do it on purpose."
double bass drums and double dipping over there, doing the thing. Oh my goodness. So, as far as your influences for this project, are there any artists that you liken your sound to, or you're trying to, or any one particular genre you want people to be able to identify it as? What are your ideas for this type of music?
No, that's awesome. I mean, so I don't know where Scott sort of parks his cars in terms of the influences of how he feels this band sounds. But for me, I've said it 100 times, and I said it earlier. I feel like if you're going to liken your sound to someone else, make it be something amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
because that's you want. If you like this, then hopefully you'll like that.
Yeah.
And so I've said for this band specifically, I think if the Beatles, the Eagles, and the Foo Fighters got together and collaborated for a day, this would be the love child of how that all.
Oh, that's
shook out.
brilliant. That's where you want to be.
That's exactly what I mean, because the songwriting is extremely thoughtful and clever. The vocal harmonies are a major part of what we focus on, and then the songwriting is just genuinely solid rock, standard stuff.
This guy, I think earlier we were talking and Scott was like, Chris is, more or less your hype man, right? How's it going?
I know.
And I'm like,
He doesn't usually do the hype while I'm sitting right next to
this
him.
is such a good little bromance. I'm so happy to be here for this, you two. Famous separately, making music together now. It's beautiful.
But yeah, so that's the sound that I equate the band to, and then obviously personal influences go.
Yeah, they're so broad, you know what I mean? It would be hard to pigeonhole us into anything.
So do you find that you're, just to revisit, because that was interesting for me when you were talking about during the writing process, like you bring something to the table and you have a particular sound in mind, and then maybe Chris or P is like, well, I hear this. Are you likening it to other artists? Are you in the room actually playing what you hear at that time?
Yeah, I'll send them a recording of kind of the rough idea, just
Right.
me and an acoustic, and then when we get in the band room, I'll play it for them because there's more energy. They can kind of get the idea of where it's going. And then the whole idea, to be honest, is like I need them to pull me out of sometimes where it's at to show me that it could be somewhere else. And then sometimes I'm the biggest jerk ever because I don't want it to go anywhere.
Give me an example. Is there a certain song in your set that you saw it one way and then it ended up another way?
What are you laughing about?
You gonna tell the story?
Which one?
18 months long.
Oh,
It's
Let It
song
Rain?
for forever.
Okay.
Forever.
So tell me that story.
Oh man, you should probably tell it.
All right. So Scott had a song called "Let It Rain," and Rayne has a song called "Let It Rain."
That's
and,
brilliant.
Imagine.
And two different iterations, not the same spelling, but either way, we had this song and we would play it, and we were actually actively playing it out live. I mean, this song had already made the runs. It was big. It was part of the set we were doing, but it always felt off and awkward. And we would talk about it and go, this song's just not there, and we would revisit it every rehearsal, and it would cause fights, and people would storm out, and
You're just done with this song.
Yeah, and so we were getting to a
This
point
is like the girl you can't break up with.
There was like that. There's this little magic thing to me, anyway. There was like this, like the song was almost there. It's like there's something missing,
but we
And
couldn't
you
figure
can't
out what
figure
it
out
was.
what it was.
Yeah.
And so we were ready to shelf it, and then we were sitting at rehearsal, and it was probably 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there listening to something, and for whatever reason, I just stopped what I was doing, and I said, everybody play your part. I'm going to flesh out my idea in my head and see if this works. And they played it, and I finally came up with this very simple, straight ahead beat that was a lot quicker than the original had been. And we got about halfway into the song, and everybody just kind of looked around and went, song's done.
Yeah, it's almost done. They're all thinking, man, we don't have to listen to him talk about it ever.
But it took-
Yeah,
but it
and
took-
you loved it right
Yeah.
away.
Oh man, it was.
He
awesome.
called me after rehearsal just to say exactly that. It was a shining moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took 18 months for us to get that song fleshed out.
The
so-
gestation period of
Yeah.
Let It Rain.
And
was
it's-
18
it-
months.
yeah. And now it's our favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite
It's
song.
our favorite song.
Well,
to
there
play.
you go.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to hear, because I love that. I mean, I know a lot of musicians, and some watching right now, do both covers and originals, and that's really the difference. I mean, a cover, you've got your blueprint. You might have to make some alterations, like you're covering a horn part on guitar, or what have you, but
Sure.
the song is the song, and I think that's kind of the cool part of your originals.
Agreed.
Okay, guys, so one last question, and then I'd love to hear a song from you.
Sure.
Why Rayne? Where'd you get the band name?
It's funny, we were just talking about it a second ago. All right, so it's basically my daughter's middle name. And there are lots of various reasons. I mean, coming up with a name is almost impossible, you know, especially nowadays. You go
Stressful.
online and you know, oh, I have the greatest idea, and you Google it. And
There you go.
18 other bands
Of
already
course,
have
they're
it.
on Instagram with 40,000 followers.
Yeah, so, but Chris and I had sort of something in common because I liked the idea, and then he was actually going to name one of his kids Rayne, and then ended up naming a pet Rayne, or, you know. So,
I had the name in my back pocket, so it was already a name that I was sort of...
With the same spelling?
Yeah.
Love it.
So and then both of us being on, you know, now we just have to convince 2 other people, you know, because that's the hard part. You could think you have the greatest name on the planet, but getting 4 people to agree to, you know.
It's a struggle, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, but so at a certain point, you know, we introduced it or however, but they agreed to it. And we were like, finally, we got a name. Let's just move on. And now there's another band in England with the same name.
No way,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
In the same spelling?
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah, same graphics. This whole.
And my
deal.
friend Luke from England is watching. Luke, take care of that.
Yeah, man, fix that because they came out after us.
No, do me a favor. We've got some other folks watching. Want to give a shout out to my girl Delberta, always letting all the right people in at Champions. Love her. Walt is watching. Hey, Walt. Sound man, original man. What's a talented guy. Eric, Jason Green, Chad's watching. Hey guys.
up, everybody?
Jason said he clapped at the end of your song and he forgot he was alone. That's
That's
okay.
always.
If I had a nickel for every time I responded during a video, you know, on Facebook,
Or in a car, and you hear something, and you're like, oh, that was awesome. And then you look around, who are you talking to?
they
Yeah,
say
right.
that it's a sign of genius to talk to yourself.
So I'm really.
Then
really
I am.
smart.
And, I'm saying, and if that's not what songwriting is, then I don't know what it is.
Then I'm a Mensa.
Yeah, right.
So the awesome guys of Rayne, Chris, and Scott are going to take it away with one more song, guys. What's this one going to be?
This one's called Feels Like Home. It's
Feels
more
Like
of an
Home.
acoustic kind of song. So
Awesome.
we'll try this.
Check it out.
There were times I didn't know. Somehow we made it through. Tried to say goodbye. Convinced myself I was all you. Been through hard times. They didn't break me. They left me with these scars. But you were there to save me. Without you, there's a part of me that can't go on. Without me, would you find a way? Would it feel? Would it feel like home? If I wasn't the one you hold, you would need someone. Would it feel like home? Can you imagine even for a minute yourself with anyone? Would it feel like home? If I wasn't the one you hold, you would
your local live and making music. Join me on April 23rd for the Dirty Middle. And remember, May 11th is the Rock and Roll Yard Sale. Stay posted for cool events this summer as we celebrate our 35th anniversary. And check out Rayne. Thank you guys for being my guest today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
See y'all. Have a good day.
See ya.
Clear?